The first thing to understand is that the nations of the world have agreed at successive conferences in places like Durban and Copenhagen and so on to limit global warming to 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. We are now, the world has warmed on average by about 0.7 of a degree over the last century. So they're trying to avoid that 1.3 extra degrees. And the reasons for that is because the boffins tell them that this is a critical threshold. That's their best guess. If you go beyond that level of warming, things start to get very, very hairy. Below that, things go topsy-turvy, but they're manageable. So they want to manage the unavoidable and avoid the unmanageable. And so this is what they've agreed to. At the moment, if all the agreed mechanisms and targets and taxes were followed through, they'd probably limit warming to about 3.5 degrees. So there is a gap between what they say they want to do and what they're actually heading towards. But every successive conference does move us a little bit closer. And I think this is really important. So what I'm saying there is that Australia is bound by treaty obligations to do something. And both sides of Parliament recognise this, to the point where both sides of Parliament agree that we should reduce our emissions before 2020. So that's really important. All the rhetoric, all the political footballing and so on, both sides of politics agree on that. They haven't quite decided where the target is going to sit, but at least 5%. And so now the government has developed an institutional legal framework, including a 20% renewable energy target, research and development dollars, a national energy efficiency strategy. They've developed institutions like Clean Energy Finance Corporation that will help target and stimulate new innovative sources of clean energy, a national energy savings initiative to promote energy efficiency in industry, new vehicle standards. But the thing we're interested in is over here, starting with the Biodiversity Fund. It's about $1 billion that will be invested in addition to the Caring for Our Country money, that will be dispersed across the country over the next 6 years and invested in protecting and restoring natural stores of carbon in the landscape. And that will involve, and there's a first tranche of money that's already gone out. There were about 1,500 applications, as I understand it. So there's a lot of interest. Some people in this room may have got some money out of that. And so that'll include things like pest and weed management, restoration, protection of areas and so on. About $1 billion, which is quite substantial. And the carbon farming initiative here, which is this offsets program that we're here to talk about today. And all of this is underpinned by that carbon pollution price, or what's loosely called the carbon tax. So that both raises the money to fund these things, but it also stimulates this national market, this emissions trading scheme. So that is the driver. If you didn't have the carbon tax, then you would have to take money out of taxpayers' pockets to directly fund these things, if that's the way you chose to go. But the important thing is that this is telling us is that this isn't going away. Different governments will have different emphases on it, but it isn't going away.